Anybody have a reason to go to Marion? I need Judge Nichols' signature on all these signatory forms. So slow with the mail last time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Close is that to Paducah? I could swing back on my way.
Yeah,
Not
it's,
really close to Paducah.
no. Check with Amy. You know, she may have somebody going up
I
there.
mean, I may just mail it. Just take forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All account for it.
It may be something that I could do later this week if needed. Hey, Joanne.
Good afternoon, Jason. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you doing?
Doing good on this end. Trying to survive the hot and cold. You never know about the air conditioning anymore.
That's it. That's exactly right.
I told my
I tell you
husband
what,
I told my husband he's going to have to suffer because I'm not turning the air conditioning on anymore.
well, I'm sort of the opposite. I've already told them I'm not turning on the heat till after October, so they're gonna have to suffer through it.
Well, I don't have heat on. It's just nothing at all.
Just nothing. Well, that's nice. I like that. Everything going okay over in Trenton?
As far as I know, yeah. Hadn't heard anything different lately.
How about the little stores and the restaurants? Are they all surviving or?
Yeah, I think they're doing well. Yeah,
Good.
they're able to take on different clienteles. So one group is support one support the other. And of course, we have a lot of people coming on the inside of the community that are supporting both of them. So that's
Right.
good too.
Right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It seems like, I mean, I am COVID exhausted. I'll tell you that, but it seems like everybody's sort of getting into a routine with it.
Yeah, and we've had to dodge some. I don't know if you can hear. I got the doors open and all the big trucks are working.
Yeah.
We've had to dodge some bullets playing golf. Some of the people around where we play, you'll hear, well, this one got it. And of course, you saw them the day before. You weren't playing with them or close. So we've sort of watched ourselves about who we're around a lot.
Well, you know, we typically have our industry appreciation event, our little golf outing down at Boots Randolph back in September. But one of the reasons we didn't do it this year is that we were basically told that, you know, if people wanted to ride in the same carts, then they would have to prove that they rode together in the same vehicle to the park. So, you know, we just didn't want to really get into all of that.
Right. That was one of the guidelines that they started with at Western Hills, was that if you rode with them, you could ride with them there. But normally it was one person to a cart. So, and even with my husband, I keep my cart over there and store it. And of course, if he's playing with the men, he can go and they will let their members get one of their carts to ride in.
Okay.
And of course,
okay.
I'll keep my own cart.
Yeah.
But now I think maybe it might be a little bit more lax now, which now it's getting back to a critical stage, so they don't need to lighten up too much.
Exactly. I mean, these numbers are climbing fairly quickly, it seems like.
They are. And with fall break just ending in Todd County, I look for some more issues going on with the school system. Of course, fortunately, it's been low in the school system. That's a good news so far.
Yeah. Now, I didn't ask Amy this morning, but are they back? Are they back on some type of hybrid, or what are they doing this week?
I think normally what they were doing with those that were going in person, return to in person. I don't think they've changed it yet. Now, I knew that they put out an information sheet to the parents to see if they want it to change, but I don't know when that goes into effect yet.
We're back full time for those that signed up for in-person classes.
Hopkins County, where my kids go, they're back to all virtual for the next 2 weeks. So they took fall break last week, And then everybody's virtual for the next 2 weeks, I guess, in case somebody went somewhere and, needed to quarantine, everybody's virtual.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a shame. I just heard on news this morning. Of course, we heard about our governor yesterday,
Yeah.
and now the mayor of Clarksville was notified that he had COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Was that just today?
Yes, he just announced it today. I think yesterday is when he found out.
He wasn't up at the White House for an event, was he?
I don't know. But he might have been around some political people now since it's close to the election.
Yeah. I know it's got to be hard for folks that are running due to the, trying to campaign.
True. And they open up the elections tomorrow. You can go and vote. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah, it is. I'll be anxious to see what the turnout looks like with all of the additional options now. I hope it's a lot higher. I mean,
yeah, that's what the plan is, I believe, according to the Secretary of State. But I plan on voting in person. I'm going in November.
Are you going to?
Yeah.
They're in Hopkins County. They're going to have different locations to where you can go throughout the next month or so. And so I guess it'll just depend on if it falls on one of the days I get to be in Hopkins County when they've got a place open, or I'll wait till November the 3rd. I'm not sure. But how's Mayor Green doing?
Arthur, I ain't talked to Arthur lately. Since COVID, they sort of,
they won't let us out.
Oh,
We're
there
doing
he
good.
is.
We're doing good. I just
Good.
listened to you and Joanne solving the world's problems. So
Well, we've got the expert with us now.
Tammy just got in, or who was it came on that got in then?
No, that was you.
No, it wasn't me, Joanne. It had to be somebody else getting online. It wasn't me. There'll be one get on here after a while can answer your questions.
Oh yeah, there's always somebody in this group that can answer the questions. Don't know if they're the right answers, but they can answer.
Start saying you'll get an answer. Won't no matter.
No matter what. That's exactly right.
Well, it's good seeing you, Arthur. I ain't seen you in a while.
Well, you ought to get out.
I do, but you're locked up over there.
No, we're not locked up. We hadn't been locked up for a month.
Laura was out the other day when I went over, but she's back now. So I did make an attempt to come and see y'all.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, that's what I used to tell people. You don't have to have an appointment to see me. Just as sure I'll be here if you got one.
Joanne, I got up this morning and, it's just so strange getting here on board meeting days. Usually I have my suit coat on or necktie or whatever. And this, today I was able to get up and put my UK shirt on. I mean,
That's great.
They're different, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know what I'm wearing on top, but you don't know what I'm wearing on the bottom.
Oh, me. We better slow down right there.
That was too much information right there. Too much information.
I'm wearing shorts. Don't y'all freak out.
I see WKDZ is on here, so we better be careful.
I know why you put on your UK shirt. They won a game.
That's exactly right. It was ugly, but they won.
You were there, weren't you?
I wasn't there at this game. I went last week where they lost that game in overtime, but I was on the couch. I was on the couch watching it this week.
Oh, okay. I just hope we'll be able to see some basketball games.
Yep.
I can't see on you, Aaron. Are you getting quite a few people in? Let's see if I can get some. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, everybody's starting to log in now.
I'm just going to be a voice today. This is Lori Harper.
Hey, Lori, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thanks for sending that information over regarding the Eagle Ambassador. I think we got that processed last week, I believe.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I see my judge executive has just joined the party.
I am here, Jason. How are you today?
Doing fine, Judge. Good to see you.
Jason, I saw Jennifer yesterday late afternoon from Four
did you?
Seasons, and I told her congratulations on her little grant she got. She seemed
Yeah.
like she was really tickled.
Yeah, we're excited about that program, and I'm guessing probably Amy will chat about that just a little bit late in our meeting. But we're really getting a lot of interest in that program, and I think just like to Four Seasons, it's going to be very helpful to some folks. I see Gary Jones. How are you doing today, Gary?
Hello, Dr. Vincent.
Well, good afternoon, Dr. Wooldridge.
I hope it's sunny over in Hopkinsville because it's not over here.
Well,
y'all must be living better on the other side of the lakes.
Partly cloudy.
Partly cloudy? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to get this judge confirmed, but I'm going to attend this meeting.
Well, I'm glad you're going to attend. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, sir. Y'all doing okay?
Yes, sir. We are.
Good. Mighty good.
Just
mighty good.
You know, crazy schedules right now, but
yes, sir. No doubt.
I have a.
I'm retired. My schedule's crazy.
I have a separate calendar for my children's school schedule, and I tell you what, that keeps us hopping.
Right. I understand that. Of course, all of mine are grown, but their schedules and work schedules, and one's working on the farm and bought a house here in town. And when he's not working on the farm, he's working on the house. So, you know, we're about to have a little more room around here.
Well, that's good. I want to know what's going on over there in Trigg County.
Man, you'll have to ask Hollis about that one. I hadn't been to Cheri County in a while. I guess I need to go. Oh, just on a proud papa's note, my Marine made Lance Corporal last week.
Oh, that
congratulations!
Is awesome.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you about him. Now, where is he stationed right now?
Man, he's in the of all the places that a Marine could be stationed, he probably got the worst place that you could ever imagine. Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Marine Corps Base, Honolulu.
Well, I hope he bounces back from that.
God, boy, it's going to be tough on him.
It's a tough tour.
I tell you what, though, if it's weather, I tell you the weather we had here over the weekend was about as good as you could get, if you ask me.
Right. Well, they've had some really hot days over there. They get that tropical heat and moisture and everything. I mean, they've had some sweltering days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I see here we are about 1 minute after 1 o'clock. I will just remind everyone, hopefully you did get the email with the link to our online board packet. If you did not, you will find the link to the packet in the chat box where you can click on that and see the information. You can either pull up each agenda item separately, or you can go to the bottom of that page and download the entire board packet in one single document. So if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, click on the link there in the Zoom chat, and you will be able to pull up that online agenda. I know I saw Mr. Chairman came into the meeting. Can you hear us, Mr. Chairman? Because I can't hear you.
Now, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Barely. Barely.
Barely? Okay. Hang on. How's that, Jason?
That's a little better. I've turned my volume up. I've turned my microphone or speakers up, so and I can hear you now. Hopefully, everyone else can do the same.
Internet just made it to Crittenden County a couple weeks ago, so we're still trying to work with it. All right, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. As always, if we can mute ourselves until we're ready to talk, well, that helps out tremendously. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order, and I think Judge Steve Tribble is with us. He's going to lead us in our pledge, and we'll follow that up with Mayor Cotton with our invocation. So, Judge Tribble.
Yes, sir. Let's pledge our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Mayor Cotton, would you have our invocation, please? Jason, is Mayor Cotton with us?
Yeah, I think we may have lost him.
All right. Judge Alexander, you care to fill in?
Be glad to. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Bow with me as we pray. Father, we bow before you this day, Lord, just giving you thanks for this day that you've given us, Lord. We thank you for the ability to gather in this country, even if it's virtually, Lord, or by Zoom meeting, and conduct the business of this PADD, Lord, in this Pennyroyal region. We just thank you for the opportunity to live and raise our families in this beautiful region we call Pennyroyal here in Kentucky, Lord. We thank you again for this freedom. We ask that you be with this meeting as we move forward and conduct business, and open our hearts and minds that we do business in an unselfish manner for the greater good of the region, Lord, and not for any personal reasons, Lord. We ask that you go with each and every participant of this meeting afterwards, Lord, and ask that you be with this country and this land and put your healing hand upon all that are sick, Lord, and dealing with this pandemic and the civil unrest that's across this nation, Lord, because we do understand that you are the great healer and the great doctor of all. We ask all these things in your name. We ask that you forgive us where we fail you. Amen.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Judge. All right, we'll move on to our agenda, and first item of business is approval of the minutes. If everyone's had a chance to look through those, I'd entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
I'll make that motion. Mayor Smiley Dawson.
Thank you,
Judge
Mayor.
Tribble seconds that.
Thank you, Judge. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by thumbs up or aye. All right. Next item of business is our financial report, and Miss Alicia is going to present that. So, Alicia, if you would.
Everyone should have a copy of the financial report, or you can click on the link there that Jason shared for you guys to find the financial report. This monthly expenditure report is as of September the 30th. We should be at 25% at this point in the fiscal year, and we are at 21.23%. All line items are within budget. I do want to point out that travel still remains low due to the COVID-19 restrictions, and we're continuing to monitor this, and we will modify any grant budgets as we deem necessary moving forward in the fiscal year. So total year-to-date expenditures are $877,202.54. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to address those now, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
Hollis Alexander, I make that motion.
Thank you, Judge. Do I have a second?
Second, Lori Harper.
Thank you, Lori. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye or thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Motion passed. I know one thing, these virtual meetings has taught us a great deal of patience, and also a great deal about what we don't know about this format, I think, at least in my case. But we'll move on then with our agenda to our federal and state reports. And first on our list, we're very excited today to have Victoria Elridge with us. Commissioner Elridge is Commissioner of the Department for Aging and Independent Living in the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Human Family Services. She's a licensed occupational therapist. She was diagnosed with epilepsy as a child, which empowered her to pursue a career in health services. In partnership with Kentucky's area agencies on aging and independent living, community mental health centers, Center for Independent Living, and other community partners, Dale provides leadership and addresses issues and circumstances that stand in the way of elders and individuals with disabilities, achieving the best quality of life possible. Commissioner Elridge works closely with the Pennyroyal area staff in delivering critical services to our seniors and to our disabled population. Commissioner Elridge, we thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here talking to you all today, especially in the midst of the pandemic. And I know Jason has heard me tell this story before, but I came on 2 weeks before we had our first COVID-19 case, and truly the 7 months that I've been in the role as commissioner has truly been eye-opening, and I am even more proud than I was before to be a Kentuckian, especially in the response and how Kentucky has stepped up to the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, we have done a phenomenal job at protecting our most vulnerable individuals out in the community and in congregate settings since this pandemic has started. And I want to first say thank you to Jason and to Jill Collins, your area agency on aging and independent living director, for the work that they have done in your regional area, and especially to all of the mayors, the county judges that are on, all of the volunteers who have stepped up to help out in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I know Jill and I meet there for a while. We were meeting twice a week. We're now down to every other week that we're meeting and getting updates in response to what's going on in Western Kentucky and your all side of the state. And I do have to say thank you to Jill for her creativity and innovation, and each of the senior center directors in response to their efforts, as well as all of the community partners who have stepped up and helped out. There at the beginning, I know we were partnering with community partners we've never even partnered with before, from local dairy farmers who were donating milk, and local cattle farmers who were donating meat to seniors in need. And those donations continue to come through, although they are not at the degree at which it was when we first started. That there are still community partners that are stepping up to help out our seniors out in the community. And just to let you all know, there's about 35,000 individuals who are in long-term care settings across Kentucky, but there's almost 1 million seniors, people aged 60 and older, that are across Kentucky. So it truly is making sure that our seniors are taken care of in the community as we respond to the pandemic. And last week, actually a week ago today, it was an honor to announce that there were over 2 million meals served across Kentucky during the pandemic since we started monitoring the meals. And in 6.5 months, we have delivered the same amount of meals that we delivered in 2019. Here recently within the Pennyroyal area, for last week alone, there were over 6,000 meals that were delivered to home delivered meals, knocking on doors through volunteers who are coordinating with senior centers, and then additional seniors who are driving up to their local senior center to pick up their local meal. Since the pandemic started, since we started monitoring numbers weekly, there have been over 150, actually almost 160,000 meals that have been served to seniors in the Pennyroyal area. And again, I just want to say thank you to each of you. I know there have been stories in which mayors and judges and some of the Pennyroyal staff have stepped up to help get the meals out, there are staff who are making phone calls, checking in on seniors, seeing how they are doing. I know that Jill is leading some innovative efforts through the University of Louisville's Aging Institute and some partnership opportunities. And as the great Winston Churchill said, never let a good crisis go to waste. And this, I think, has really shown us how we can collaborate together with partners that we've never even thought to partner with before to help to support our community. One of the things I do want to make you aware of is that we have secured an additional $2.5 million in funding for meals through the end of the year. And this is through the CARES funding through the governor's office. So he has given us an additional $2.5 million to continue to meet the need of seniors across the community in the event that the federal dollars do run out. And I want to take a minute and say thank you. I saw that Congressman Comer's representative was on at the last meeting. I'm not sure if they're on today, but just want to say thank you. Congressman Comer took a minute out while he was in DC on the floor and thanked all of our senior centers and recognized all of our senior centers. And we truly appreciate that. That means a lot. And that was very exciting and such an honor for Kentucky senior centers to be recognized. Within that though, I do want to take a minute out and make sure that we all are aware of what's going on across the state. We hit the highest record of COVID cases that we've hit since the pandemic started last week. We'll have our official number later today at the governor's virtual press conference. And I ask that you all please keep the governor and his family in your thoughts and prayers as he is quarantining right now. He had a staff member, one of his detail, I believe, according to the media reports, has tested positive that he was with in close contact. And so please keep the governor in your thoughts and prayers as you all move about this week. It's my understanding that all of his press conferences will be done virtually, but he will continue to get information out. But within that, this is where I truly and humbly ask for each of you, as you all sit on the board as part of Pennyroyal, to set the example in your community. Make sure you're wearing your mask, make sure that you're social distancing, and make sure that you're not congregating in groups of 10 or more, different house parties, if you will. Make sure that we're setting that good example of community leaders. And it truly is our local individuals and local citizens look to our community leaders to set that example, and ask that you all continue to set that example out in the area. I'm closely monitoring the reports. I get daily reports as to the COVID-19 response. And one of the things that I'm closely monitoring, obviously, is what's going on in your all's area. I know Muhlenberg County has been hit really, really hard through this. And as of the most recent report in the Penny Ryle area, there are 3 counties that are considered critical spread and 2 considered accelerated spread. And you all can find this information on the KY COVID-19 website. But overall, as a state, we have 73% of our counties are in the critical or accelerated spread, which is quite concerning. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to protect not only our community, but our seniors. And with that, our seniors only make up 21% of the COVID-19 cases, but 90% of the deaths. And so this is where we really need to make sure that we're protecting our families. As of now, the data tells us that the average age of a COVID-19 case is only 41 years of age. But knowing that it's being spread out in the community, we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to stay 6 feet away, especially from our most vulnerable adults that are out in the community. And so with that being said, I will continue to ask you all to set the example and do what we can to help to slow the spread and stop the spread. I know that there's been many schools who've gone back to in-person learning and just truly making sure that we're taking care of our kids and the grandparents who are taking care of their grandkids and raising their grandkids and making sure that they have everything that they need to stay protected. So with that, the last thing that I will leave you with is that since I have taken on this role as commissioner, the 2 words that I have lived by and implore my staff to live by are grace and flexibility. During this pandemic, we know, as the governor says, that we will get through this together, but it's truly through grace and flexibility as a leader and setting that example that I encourage my staff to do as well, to make sure that we're meeting the community needs at the state and local level. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that anyone has. Jason, thank you again so much for having me on. I truly appreciate it.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for joining us today. And I just, I want to publicly thank you for your working relationship with us. I'm a firm believer that the good Lord puts people in place to hand at the right time. And I believe that with you because, I couldn't be more happy and more proud of what has been accomplished. And you already mentioned the 2 millionth meal being served across the state of Kentucky. But I'll just say your leadership has been so helpful to us here in the regions. And on that same note, I'd like to say a big thank you to our local partner here, the Penny Ryle Allied Community Services, our service provider, who has also stepped up. And we really haven't had a hiccup with the meal program here in our region. And again, that's a huge thanks to PACS, to our staff here at PADD, and to also the commissioner's leadership on a statewide basis. So thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Commissioner, thank you again for being with us. Really appreciate you taking time today to share with us that information.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, next we have the privilege of having our Executive Director for NATO, Mr. Joe McKinney, with us. Joe is NATO has always provided a tremendous amount of support for regional councils like PADD, and we very much appreciate their recent work to secure funding for the PADD districts to assist with this pandemic recovery efforts. So Joe, without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. Appreciate the introduction and the accolades. NATO, I'll just briefly kind of tell you who we are for those that aren't familiar. We're not the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, although my kids think that's who I work for. We're actually the National Association of Development Organizations, and we represent all the area development districts across the country. There's more than 500. And we're based in DC, and I would say as a former director, similar to what Jason's doing, I relied a lot on NATO to be the kind of eyes and ears in DC for federal programs and opportunities. I think Jason could probably spend all day going through the Federal Register and things like that. But we hope as a national organization, we take some time away from your staff to concentrate on those and allow them to focus their attention on the region. It's been a crazy month, just like many of you. We've had to deal in DC with the federal government, a new way of doing business. When the coronavirus hit back in March, most, if not all, the congressional offices still remain closed, as well as all the federal agencies. A lot of those are working remotely. So we're adjusting to that, but I think we've done really well. As the chairman mentioned, we were able, when the first CARES Act came out, to include funding for the ads across the nation through the CARES Act, through the Economic Development Administration, to help local communities with preparing and recovering from this kind of economic crisis. So we were very excited to be able to do that. And most recently, we were able to push through a bill in both the House and Senate that we've been working on. My understanding is for over 33 years. I think I was on a call last week and someone told me back in the late 80s they were working on this bill for a federal revolving loan program to help localize it and to take some of the burdens, reporting burdens off of that. And so we've tried many times. I've been at NATO 8 years, and I know I've tried several times, but we were able to push it through. And essentially what it does, and Jason, I'm not sure if you have a revolving loan fund through EDA. Okay, well, good. So the thought behind this is that the federal government does have a small business or a business lending program that they run through the ads. It's been a great program throughout the years to be able to move some money in your communities to help spur community economic development. The challenge has been Jason and his staff have had to report on those in perpetuity. I mean, as long as you have that, you may have done a loan back in the 80s and it be closed, but you still have to provide quarterly reports on that. And so it's just a series of red tape to the point where none of our ads across the country have given it up because of the red tape, or others have not applied. So we were able just this past week to finally get the House and Senate to approve unanimously the changes in that I think is going to have a real impact on your community. It kind of localizes those dollars after 7 years. They're no longer federal dollars. So the grant goes to the ad. The ad lends that money out, and as it's repaid, that money becomes localized after 7 years, which gives you more flexibility on how you spend that to address your community economic development needs without having this burdensome requirement. So again, we've worked on that for 33 years, and I hate to say it, but because I'll be indebted to Jason, but his outreach to particularly Senator McConnell's office and staying in constant contact with Phil Maxson. Many of you know nothing gets done in Congress without the supportive leadership on both sides of the aisle, and we really relied on Penny Ryle and Jason to help us through that. And I'm indebted. I may have to wear a Wildcat T-shirt or something at the annual conference. I hate to do that, but you guys and ladies have done just a super job helping us with that, and we're extremely appreciative of that. Going to be real quick on a legislative update. I'm sure many of you are aware that we do not have a federal budget. The federal budget starts October 1, and both the House and Senate and the President signed a continuing resolution through December 11th, which gives basically 10 weeks of operating under current level funding that was in place last year, and kind of punted the ball to allow the election to take place and kind of reevaluate after the election before they adopt a budget. That's pretty common in election years. It's very rare that they pass a budget anytime before October 1st, but traditionally when it's a presidential election year, they do a continuing resolution until after the election. So we continue to push for consistent funding for a lot of your programs. That's a lot of what we do. We do not lobby. We fortunately represent local governments, and so we're not required to register as lobbyists, but we do continually stay in contact with congressional staff, with our federal partners, to promote programs that are important in your community that your ad provides. Again, that'll go through December 11th, and then at some point, the House and Senate hopefully will come up with a budget for next year, which is again, it's a kind of a monumental task to get to agreement in DC these days, as you know. The other thing that the continuing resolution did that we also promote quite heavily is the FAST Act, or the Transportation Reauthorization, where there is allocation of funding and priorities for transportation. It expired October 1, but the continuing resolution extended that for another year for them to continue to work on transportation priorities. The real challenge there, as all of you know, is the funding, and the fact that a lot of that's transportation federally is funded by gas taxes. Those continue to decline, and so looking for a stream of revenue to pay for particularly transportation infrastructure is a real key over the next year. So other than that, it's all election. Not a lot's happening other than the Supreme Court nomination. I think that's probably the only congressional action we'll see of any substance before the election. And so, again, that's kind of traditional in election year. Very little gets done in the months leading up to it. So we continue to push and work with our federal partners to look out for the local interest, as we always have. Our focus since the CARES Act and since the revolving loan defederalization has been on trying to secure some funding for our local governments across the country. And I never make predictions because I'm wrong a lot more than 50% of the time, but it's a real challenge right now to pass another COVID relief bill prior to the election. I know there's some days I give up total hope, complete hope that that'll happen, and then other days there's kind of rays of sunshine that it might happen, but it's real challenging. I know at some point that the federal government is going to provide some funding on a local level to help many of you recover from this economic crisis. But whether that's going to happen before November is kind of up in the air. But we continue through NATO and our partnership with the National Association of Counties and the League of Cities to push for local governments and some federal relief to help you with the challenging times. So with that, I just again appreciate all you do and and allowing Jason to work with us and serve on our board of directors. We've been extremely lucky to have him a part of our organization, and I know it takes some time, but in the end, I think it's certainly a value to your ad and also to the other area districts around the country, and certainly appreciate your support of NATO over the years. And we look forward at some point when it's safe to seeing a lot of you in person at our training conferences. We feel like that's a real help to find out what's going on across the country and share some of your successes with others across the country. So maybe soon we'll have the ability to have a meeting in person, but until then, if you need anything, please let Jason know, and we'll support in any way we can. So appreciate it.
Joe, I'll just say thank you for being with us today. I may ask you to wear a little darker shade of blue. I know you like that lighter shade being from North Carolina, but anyways, as you know, Pentarol, we have always been very active with your training conferences, and especially with the policy conference in DC. And I was glad to hear the other day on our call with the Southeast region that we are able to remain flexible and hopefully have something maybe in person in the spring there in DC. Possibly, we're keeping our fingers crossed, and I know you all are working diligently to try to make that work out. But I know we continually have questions from our group about when are we going to be able to head to DC, and you might just mention, if it's okay, sort of what the planning work is for a possible fly-in there in March.
Sure. I mean, we hear from all of our members across the country. They're definitely ready to get to DC when it's safe to do so. Our conference, our Washington conference, is currently scheduled for March, I think, 20th through the 22nd of next year. Maybe it's the 14th through the 17th. We've changed it so much. But we have not canceled it as yet. In fact, I think we're as Jason mentioned, trying to be flexible. It may not be in March. It may be April, May, maybe into the summer months. But we do plan when it is safe to get our folks back up to DC when the congressional offices are open and our federal partners are open to have you up to DC and help to promote what you do at your ad and ads across the country. So we're hopeful. It may not be mid-March like we're hoping, but we do want to try to pull something together in 2021 to get our folks up to the hill.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Does anybody have any questions at all for Joe? All right. Thank you for taking time to be with us today. And we can't ever have enough of those Wildcat shirts around the country, so feel free to wear one anytime.
I'll hold my nose and try to do
that. All right. Next up, we have Miss Christiana Wade with Delta Regional Authority. She is the program manager for Delta Regional Authority and is with us today to discuss an exciting new initiative she's been working on to hopefully bring to our region very soon. So Ms. Wade, if you would.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Christina Wade, Health Program Manager for Delta Regional Authority. A little bit of background. DRA is a federal agency established by Congress in 2000 to improve regional economic opportunity in our 252 counties and parishes in our 8-state footprint. Each year, we work with the Department of Defense to submit an application for a military medical mission in our region through the military's Innovative Readiness Training Program. So what that is the military will be on site in our region, providing no-cost medical, dental, and vision care to residents of our footprint. And this includes eye exams, and they'll be making eyeglasses on site, dental exams, they'll be performing extractions and cleanings, and also basic medical care. So this year we submitted an application to host a mission in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And it's a 2-year process. So we won't know if the mission will be picked up until about February, we'll say early spring 2021. Been working with Jason and Amy on the application that was submitted on September 30th. So we just wanted to kind of give you all an update on what we're doing with the IRT. These missions are so valuable to the residents in our footprint, no cost medical, dental, and vision care for anyone. Does anyone have any questions of me?
Well, thank you for sharing that, Christina. We're looking forward to hopefully that coming to fruition. We have heard many positive stories about IRTs taking place in other areas of the state. I know in our neck of the woods, the Purchase area has had, I believe, a couple of very successful IRT events. And then I know over in East Kentucky, using some ARC funding, they've had some successful events. So we are definitely looking forward. And as you mentioned, working on that application. And I know that anything that you need on our end for that application, as far as support letters are concerned, we're happy to provide those.
Thank you so much, Jason and Amy. Also, of course, I'll be reaching out to you, Jason, Amy, hopefully in regards to letters of support. We see so much value in these missions, and once you see them for yourself, the logistics, moving equipment from around the country to come to the Delta region and provide these services is phenomenal. It is, it's a feat. So to watch it come to fruition from application submission to the actual execution dates, it's something to see. So we will be reaching out to you all for letters of support, and I will have to hop off soon, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me at cwade@dra.gov. And of course, we can get you contact information but I would love to take any questions, any comments, just, send them my way.
All right, thank you very much, Christina. Appreciate the information, and we look forward to that application hopefully being successful on our part. Next, we have Ms. Morgan Albee with Senator McConnell's office. Morgan.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Just a very brief update from the Senate. I'm sure as many of you are aware, the Senate Judiciary Committee began its Supreme Court confirmation hearings for Judge Amy Coney Barrett today. I think they just concluded within the past half hour or so. Today was the first day, just introductions. Tomorrow and Wednesday will be rounds of questioning, and then on Thursday there will be outside witnesses. So those hearings will be going on this week, and that's really all I have. But as always, if our office can ever be of assistance, just let me know. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Morgan. Next, we have Mr. Jason Hassert with Senator Paul's office. Jason.
Hello to everyone. It's good to be here. Senator Paul is looking forward to Judge Barrett's confirmation in the Senate this month, and appreciates Senator McConnell's leadership on that. Senator Paul would just like to let everyone know that he continues to support the reopening of our schools and our businesses, and safely, and wants to see the Commonwealth move forward and get the economy back on track. Also, if any of your communities or counties have any federal grants that are coming up or things that you're looking at, Senator Paul is always happy to write a letter of support for that. Please contact me or the Bowling Green office. And also, if there are things that you're looking for grant money or wondering if there are grants, that's something the office is always happy to research and look up for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And then we have Corey Elder with Congressman Comer's office. Corey.
Hello, everyone.
Corey, I don't think we can.
Yeah, I think we
hear
lost you, Corey.
Judge,
Corey?
I say move on, and then we'll see if we'll get Corey back on there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We'll move on, and if he comes back, we'll go back to him. Mr. Elton Thomas with Department for Local Government. Elton, thank you for being with us.
I'm with you. Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Jason. Air Salt, and go Lakers for Anthony Davis for the Wildcats. Quick brief here from the local government. Most of you have already received your CARES funds. If you have not, it's coming soon. You should be getting a phone call from me. Of course, keep your prayers in for the governor as he's being quarantined. And don't forget to vote as we're coming out on the election. That's all I have, Jason. Air Salt.
Thank you, Elton. Then we have Mr. Doug Taylor with Department for Rural Municipal Aid. Doug, you with us still?
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate that. Hello to everyone. My message today is more focused toward you county judges and mayors that are in attendance today, as I bring you up to speed a little bit on some of the local aid that this department provides to you local governments. And as I always like to remind everybody, there's a big difference in the Department of Highways and the Department of Rural Roads and Municipal Aid. Kyle and Denitra, and in some cases, Joe Plunk are your Department of Highways guys. And I'm with the Department of Rural Roads and Municipal Aid. And aid is the key word there. As all of you know, there are several programs that we offer as aid for local governments. Your county road aid, municipal road aid, Flex, the 80/20 bridge program, and emergency funds are typically all formulated through the collection of the motor fuel tax. I'm happy to say that the collection of motor fuel tax is so far holding to about our desired budgetary limits, not going over by any means, but it does appear that it's solid financial footing for now. The one program that's utilized by a lot of local governments I do want to focus on is the FD39 contingency program. It's often referred to in layman's terms as the discretionary program. What I want to share with you today is that the discretionary program has historically been funded at around $30 million a year, and that's legislatively set, whereas the other programs are all formulated through formulas. The discretionary program is a little different. This session, the legislative body decided to lower the amount that they funded for that for the cabinet. It's only around 10 million. I bring this up to not bring doom and gloom and share that with you. I certainly would encourage you to utilize the discretionary program as it's designed, which is, again, a contingency program to help offset things that we hadn't anticipated, both on the local level and the state level. I would remind you also that the discretionary fund, or that FD39 fund, is not solely a local programs fund. It is also utilized by the Department of Highways to take care of shortfalls that happen there. Again, 30 million to 10 million is not hard to figure out. It's a 2/3 drop. What I'm asking is for you not to think that you can't utilize that program. What I'm asking you is to be aware that the criteria for approval to take funds from that program have tightened considerably, as you might expect. In the past, roads that were ranked somewhere in the 7 to 8 category for resurfacing on our scale of 1 being the best, 10 being the worst, we tried to meet those needs at 7 to 8. That's no longer a doable thing. We're going to tighten those screws up to where we're looking at 9s and 10s, being the worst of the worst, to try to supplement for paving monies. That said, you may recall, if you've ever utilized that program, the criteria also lists safety, which is always a first and foremost one of our concerns, as well as economic development. Those are 2 criteria that we will still consider to take into great consideration in the approval process. But I share this with you again just to let you know that the funds that we're working with have been decreased considerably, so the ability to use them for resurfacing has tightened considerably. Just be aware of that in your request. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact any of your district engineers about how they believe what you're asking for might rank prior to your application, or feel free to call me or any one of the other Rural Roads Municipal Aid field reps that serve your area. I do think I have all of the Pennyrile, so if you've got any questions, call me. I'll come look. It may be that there are other aid programs that are better suited than the discretionary program. So we want to help you in every way. Continue to meet your local transportation needs as you serve your constituencies there in your counties and your cities. Again, if you have any question, never hesitate to call me, and I think you have my contact information. If not, shoot me a private chat right now, and I'll respond with that. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Doug. Appreciate the information and the update as always. Corey, I think we've got you back with us now. You want to give us your report?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. With Congress on recess, Congressman Comer is back in Kentucky for the month of October. He's spending time traveling and listening to constituents and business owners. He's going to be in several of the counties in this area this coming up towards the end of the week. And he spent some time in the eastern part of the district with Senator McConnell thanking healthcare workers for their efforts during the pandemic. The biggest issue in Congress is the new stimulus package and the Supreme Court vacancy. The negotiations are ongoing, and there's no agreement right now, but Congressman Comer is open to targeted relief for struggling businesses and individuals. But he believes that the economy will not fully recover until we can safely reopen. Congressman Comer's Oversight Committee has been involved with a number of issues lately, including the census operations and lowering drug prices. And our office is always able to help anyone that has any issues during the COVID-19 crisis, including constituents with casework. We continue to get a lot of them. and then with their stimulus checks. And if you know of anyone in your circles that are having issues like that, please feel free to reach out to me in Congressman Comer's office, and we will get on now. And I just thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Corey. We'll move on now to our staff reports, and first is Miss Amy Grove on our community and economic development.
Thank you, Judge. Just quickly, I wanted to give you guys an update on our CARES RLF, our revolving loan fund program, as well as put a couple of, excuse me, grant opportunities on your radar. Chris Sutton, our disaster recovery coordinator, has hit the ground running the last month or so in getting out to your communities, assisting you guys with your CARES applications to DLG, as well as promoting our revolving loan fund program. To date, we have closed 2 loans, one of those being in Christian County and one in Todd County. We do have 2 applications that we're currently processing, another one in Christian County, and then one that came through just late last week in Hopkins County. That when those 2 close, that's going to still leave us with about $590,000 to get out on the street to our local businesses. And that's about 23 more projects. So if you guys would continue to help us spread the word about that program, we would like to see all of those funds out in our local communities, helping those businesses sustain themselves as we continue through this pandemic. Just a couple of grant programs to put on your radar as we approach the end of the year. The Recreational Trails Program, that is a yearly grant opportunity that is available to develop or maintain both motorized and non-motorized trails in your communities. The minimum application is $25,000 with a maximum application of $250,000. Several years ago, the Rec Trails program was amended to be an 80-20 matching reimbursement grant program. So 20% is all the match you have to come up with there. And that can be, of course, in the form of cash or in kind or force account labor and equipment needs. The application period will open in December. If you are interested in applying for that program, please get with me or one of our staff over here in Community and Economic Development. We'll be glad to assist you with that. On a similar note, the Land and Water Conservation Fund will also open in December as well. This is a grant program in an effort to help develop or renovate your public outdoor recreation facilities. This includes campgrounds, picnic areas, sports and play fields, swimming facilities, and things of that nature. We just had the Land and Water Conservation Committee meeting a couple of weeks ago, and thank you all to those that participated, presenting your projects from our region to that committee. The Land and Water Fund is a 50-50 matching reimbursement grant program. Again, cash is always welcomed, as well as in-kind and force account labor and equipment. And lastly, the recycling and household hazardous waste collection applications will also open towards the latter part of this year, early 2021. Those recycling applications to develop or support your recycling programs. And then we can also conduct household hazardous waste collection events where we collect those items in households for a period of time on a certain day that you cannot traditionally dispose of at our normal disposal facilities. The recycling is a 75-25 matching grant. And again, those applications will open after the first of the year. Lastly, I want to draw your attention to the agenda to the Intergovernmental Review Report attachment. We had a couple of projects that were submitted through the clearinghouse system this month. The City of Dawson Springs, the sanitary sewer system rehab project. This was actually just an update of that project that was originally submitted. Now that some TV work, some line work, TV line work has been done in Dawson Springs, we know exactly where those repairs are going to need to be made. So that project was updated within the system. And then also the Tree County Hospital construction project. Tree County Hospital was awarded some funding under this last Delta Regional Authority cycle to do some improvements there at the hospital. And those have been sent out to those respective counties and our officers for review. Do you have any questions on anything that I've kind of hurried through as we approach 2 o'clock here? All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Amy. We'll move on then to our area aging and agency on aging and independent living, Ms. Jill Collins. Jill.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. I want to just kind of reiterate some of the information that the commissioner provided regarding the meals provided during COVID. As of October the 7th, statewide, over 2 million meals have been provided. And normally, like she said, that would take about a year to provide that many meals. And so if you look in the attachments that were provided to you in the board packet, you will see the information at the local level on the number of meals that we have provided. As of October the 2nd, we were close to 160,000, so we have surpassed that number. And I just have to take a moment to recognize the individuals that make that possible for our area. This is just a major undertaking to make this happen. And so I want to thank our case management staff here at the Area Development District, our nutrition provider, Penny Ryle Allied Community Services, those senior center coordinators, their kitchen staff, their meal delivery staff, and the countless volunteers that it takes to make this happen throughout our district. Another thing that I want to point out with our meal program, our meals are provided hot 5 days a week. They're cooked fresh every day. And so they're not frozen meals. They're prepared fresh. And so they're also delivered face-to-face every day, which also provides direct contact to our older adults, which is important, but especially during this pandemic and during quarantine and socially isolating during COVID, that face-to-face contact means even more during this time. I also want to remind everyone that October 15th is this week. I think that's on Thursday. That officially kicks off open enrollment for our Medicare programs. And so if you have individuals in your county that need help with that, they can be referred to our senior centers. Each senior center has a certified benefits counselor that can help them with that process. We are also getting ready to distribute our comprehensive district-wide needs assessment. This is conducted every 3 years, and that is how we identify the top 3 needs in our area and pull that data that we need to write a new area plan. And that will be due in March. So everyone on the board and our committees and different coalitions will be receiving some information about that. And so that's really important information. So when you receive that, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Our wait list information is in your packet as well. Right now, there is no wait list for meals as we are receiving COVID funding to provide meals to anyone who needs one, but we still are keeping a wait list for other services. And so that's broken down by county on your wait list report in your packet. October is Residents' Rights Month with our long-term care facilities. And so at this time, I'm going to ask our long-term care ombudsman, Cindy Tabor, to give a brief report on our ombudsman activity for the district. So Cindy, if you would give your report at this time, please.
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, my name is Cindy Tabor, and I'm the District Long-Term Care Ombudsman for the Penny Ryle. And there's a couple of things I wanted to hit quickly. I know that we're 5 minutes before 2. So if you're looking to visit a resident and nursing facility, the main key on that would be to contact the facility first before you go. It's now, it has to be 14 days COVID free for staff and residents before they can resume visitation at the facility. Or you can contact myself. I'd be happy to assist with any information as far as visitation at particular facilities in our district. We have about 32. Also, this month is Resident Rights Month, and on page 10 of your handouts, it shows this Connection Matters. And basically it's there is a campaign for all residents living in long-term care nationwide. And the theme was Connection Matters. And residents were asked to submit different things. And this is the submission that we got from the Pinnarile. There were several that came from the Pinnarile. I was quite happy to see that this year. But this is two ladies blowing kisses at each other, and that's a way to do a virtual hug. And that was from a lady that lives in Sparks over in Central City. Also, on page 11 and 12 of our handout, I put in how this here is like me reaching out to the facilities, to the residents and
I think we may have lost Cindy.
Yeah,
So
Jill, is there anything else you want to say about that? We'll move on.
Yeah, I think we just lost Cindy for a moment, but it is Residents' Rights Month, and so she'll be doing some outreach virtually to those facilities. And so if anyone has any questions about any of the reports that we've provided regarding any of the Area Agency on Aging or Ombudsman activities, feel free to email me or contact me here at the office, and I'll be happy to help. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jill and Cindy. And if anyone missed any of Cindy's information there, I'm sure she'll welcome any phone calls or emails to ask her anything you might have. We'll move on then to our workforce activity report and Miss Tammy Hyde.
Thank you and good afternoon. In your packet, you'll see a labor market snapshot. It has the current unemployment rates. You can see that our local area is below the national average right now, and that is good for us. And you might want to just be mindful of the fact that while the governor did allow extended benefits, those will be expiring for lots of people around the first part to the end of December of this year. So we may be seeing a lot of customers out there trying to find jobs and searching for them. So if you have companies in your local areas that are hiring, let us know that. We'll be glad to put it on our Facebook pages and advertise that. We get lots of calls for customers still looking for jobs. So we're glad to help in any way that we can. As you know, right now, our career centers are still closed to in-person services, but we have lots of websites and things that we can refer them to that have the job postings, and we have Facebook pages and stuff out there that will assist with that as well. So we want to make sure that anyone who's looking for a job or needs help with that, that we give them the resources that they need to make that available to them. We are still having transition discussions with the Labor Cabinet. Different pieces of the activities we are doing are moving over to the Labor Cabinet. We are not sure which programs might move versus the ones that might stay. So we're continuing to work on that and put the pieces and payments together as to who gets what. I'm sure you all know that can be a challenge. Last week, we signed our contract with the Labor Cabinet and returned that to them. So we should be good to go for any payments that we need to assist our customers with. And then due to the COVID environment, the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board at the state level is having a series of virtual deep dive conversations with all partner agencies participating. You all can participate in those if you would like. You can find the information on the KWIB website. They have a full list of topics. They started these back in the summer and have stopped them for a little while, and now they're continuing them. This week, they will be talking about transitioning military and veterans services. And then there are other topics that include justice programs in the workforce, diversity, equality, and inclusion, work-ready communities, and then there are others that are listed there as well. Again, that can be found on the KWIB website, which is kwib.ky.gov. You will also notice there will be a change in the state leadership of the state board. This will impact the guidance we receive on work-ready communities. Melissa Aguilar has been the executive director for quite some time. She has recently resigned, and the interim director is John Lyons, and he comes out of a high school principal in Frankfurt. We also have the Employment Recovery Grant. It is up and running. We've had several people to inquire, and we've got several customers in this grant already, and we appreciate the cities and counties that have reached out and wanted assistance with this. We still have opportunities and slots available for assistance for individuals and companies, both nonprofit and government offices, to assist with any humanitarian aid during the COVID. The program will be over a 2-year period, but most people will have less than a year time frame to participate, and that's based on the guidelines from the state. If you're interested and have not heard from Tom Scholler or Molly Deal, please reach out to them. Their email and phone numbers are on the website, or if you have questions, feel free to email me or Sheila Clark. We'll be glad to help you as well. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. We'll move on now to new business, and that's our monthly code of ethics report. And I'm happy to report that we've had no issues over the past month, which brings us then to our director's report. Jason?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all again for joining us today via Zoom. I'm sure, just like many of you all, I am exhausted with the Zoom meetings. However, as I said in the email that I sent out this morning, it does afford us the opportunities to have individuals join us in our meetings and talk about things at the federal level, at the state level, and other partners that we might have. It gives them the opportunity to join us and discuss things with you. So I do appreciate them taking the time out of their day to do that. I'll be very brief. Just wanted to draw your attention to the newsletter that was in your packet today. Much of the information has already been talked about, but I did want to, Amy mentioned the Delta Regional Authority, a few of the projects that have been awarded, but you will find on the first page of our newsletter a listing of the projects that were awarded in our region. Amy, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was sort of a record year for us in terms of award and amount of funding from the Delta Regional Authority for projects. So we are definitely excited about that, and congratulations to those communities that did receive that funding. I also wanted to mention on the back page of your newsletter, as you all know, we do like to recognize employees that reach certain milestones with our agency. And this month, one person that I know that many of you all work with on a daily basis, and that's Angie Crawford. Angie, who serves as our project coordinator within our Community and Economic Development Department, is celebrating 5 years with the Area Development District this month. So just wanted to recognize Angie and tell her thank you for all of her work that she has done. I know that many of the DRA projects that were awarded in the list of awards were projects that have her thumbprints all over it. So Angie, thank you for your time and your dedication that you give to our agency. Also, just wanted to quickly mention, and I've mentioned this before, is our water situation that we have here at our office, and our roof needing to replace our roof here at our office. I just wanted to let you all know that our holding company, Pennyrile Development and Governmental Center, did approve bids for a new roof coating for our office. Trimco received the winning bid on that, and hopefully they will be starting very soon to get that new roof installed on our building. They've already done some work and has already made a significant improvement on some of our water issues. Also wanted to welcome back Mr. Tim Barnes. Tim is with us as our IT manager. So talking with the judges and mayors, if you all have any IT issues back at your offices, feel free to call Tim, and I know he would be willing to assist you on any of the issues that you all have. But we're glad to have Tim back with us, and keeping our operations up and running on a daily basis. And then finally, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just wanted to, as I do frequently, wanted to say thank you for your all support of our staff, and say thank you to our staff, whether it's our finance department, whether it's community and economic development, aging, workforce. Each one of our staff members continues to step up, do things differently, do things effectively, and like the commissioner quoted earlier, never let a good crisis go to waste. I feel like we have really enhanced our efforts here at the Pennyrile ADD, made our operations more streamlined, cost-effective, and that is a testament to our staff here. And you've heard from some of our federal partners, federal and state partners, that many of our staff are leading the way when it comes to initiatives that are not only taking place here on the regional level, but at the state and federal level. So again, I just want to remind you of what all of your staff are doing on a daily basis. And I just want to thank them publicly for everything that they do. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take those. But if not, always feel free to contact me via email, cell phone, or call us here at the office. And anything we can do for you all, we stand ready to assist.
All right. Thank you, Jason. And on behalf of the entire board, I want to thank you and the entire staff for keeping the lights on, for continuing to answer the phones and helping us out as we make our way through this uncharted territory. I know everybody is really appreciative of the work that you all do and continue to do. I've always said and said it in the past, and we'll continue to say it in the future. Look, we're the best ADD in the state of Kentucky, so we're fortunate to be a part of that. I see a lot of heads shaking up and down, so and confirm. Hey, real quick, I just want to mention West Kentucky Coalition. We had our formation meeting a couple of weeks ago. It was very successful, and for everyone, if you haven't got it on your calendar yet, our next, and I guess our first formal meeting will actually be November 10th at 10 o'clock over at Edible at the Lee S. Jones Conference Center there in Edible. So hopefully everybody will be able to make that. And Jason, I think you had something you kind of wanted to touch on as well.
Well, and I'm assuming that everyone has, had an opportunity to read through some of the information on the West Kentucky Coalition. We're excited that one of our own, Judge Whitfield, is going to be assuming the chair of that organization, and we're glad that he is taking that role on. And then also, this is a dues-driven organization, and we have been tasked here at the Pennyrile ADD with handling, sort of, lack of a better term, being a fiscal agent for the West Kentucky Coalition until it gets up and running, gets its feet underneath it. But so to our mayors and county judge executives, in the next couple of weeks, be looking for an invoice from the Pennyrile Area Development District to become a member of the West Kentucky Coalition. That invoice will be attached with a letter from the leadership of the West Kentucky Coalition, again, just explaining what the coalition is. And as always, if you have any questions about that, contact me, contact Judge Whitfield, Judge Newcomb. We'll be happy to share information with you about that. But I just wanted to say, be looking in your mailbox an invoice from Pennyrile ADD for the West Kentucky Coalition.
Hey, Jason, was the date the 10th or the 12th for the next meeting? November 10th or 12th?
Judge Newcomb, was that the?
You said the 10th.
I've got on my calendar the 10th. Yeah.
We'll get an official invite out to you, Judge.
I thought we had said the 12th, but let me look.
Yeah, Jack confirmed that. I've been known to mess up my electronic calendar as well.
Hey, Jason, just be like my wife. Just tell me when and where to be.
We'll do that.
Yeah, the 12th, Jason.
Okay, this is 12. Thank you, Jack.
Yes, sir.
Time on that.
11 o'clock.
11.
Be at the Lyon County Convention Center.
Are you gonna have did you say it's in Eddyville?
At the Lyon County Convention Center, yes.
Good, so you can get the joint to cater that, huh?
We'll probably let Judge White take care of that.
He'll probably be serving us cards.
Probably will.
All right.
I make a motion we do something different then.
Does anyone have any other business? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Jan Yance.
All right. Judge Mansfield, Mayor.
Second.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you all.